This series of Khutbah, we started with Surah Al-Baqarah, Ayah number 1, 2, and today we are on Ayah number 26. We had already discussed three kind of people: muttaqeen, and believers, non-believers, and hypocrites. And then we discussed the demand of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from all of the mankind is to worship Him only. Then we discussed our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that He is our Rabb, He is our Lord, Master, and we are His slaves. And then we discussed because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our Rabb and because He has certain demand. So as a Rabb, He has provided us with everything, and because He arranged everything, and everything He has arranged in this universe is primarily for sustenance and provisions of human beings. And then we also said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has challenged all those people who think that Allah is not Rabb and Quran is not the word of Allah, that فَأْتُوا بِسُورَةٍ مِّن مِثْلِهِ, that produce a surah like it. And then Quran is the only book on this face of earth which says that nobody can meet this challenge, and then it says nobody can ever meet this challenge. And then the ayah continues, ayah number وَبَشِّرِ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ أَنَّ لَهُمْ جَنَّاتٍ تَجْرِي. Good news for the people, to those, or give good news to those who believe and do good, that they will have, and then in return they will have the gardens of Jannah or Jannah. So Muslimin, the very first thing is, what is Jannah? What is paradise? So the greatest reward, Jannah is basically the greatest reward which a person is going to get in the afterlife. And Jannah or paradise is something which every believer strives for. And this concept of Jannah is not only in Islam, or paradise is not only in Islam. It exists in Christianity, it exists in Judaism, even it exists in Buddhism, Hinduism, and even in ancient Egyptian beliefs. We can, of course, have debate, or we can have a talk that how they believed in Jannah or what is their concept of paradise. That can be different, but they have a concept. They believe in Jannah and they believe in heaven, hell as well. So concept of Jannah in Islam, the concept of paradise in paradise is Islam, is that it is a place where a person would live eternally and he will have all the pleasures he can think of and you don't even know about. So there are different names of Jannah in Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned it with different names: Jannatul Adn, Jannatul Firdaus, Jannatul Ma'wa, Jannatul Na'im, Darul Maqam, Darul Salam, Darul Akhirah. Does this Jannah has levels? Yes. We should understand, to understand the Jannah, we should see that Jannah is like a triangle. Bottom level and the topmost level. The bottom level is, there are some narrations which says that Jannah has 100 levels. However, the scholar says that these 100 levels does not mean Jannah cannot have any more levels. It's like maybe one level is so big that one level can have 100 levels. So, but Allahu Alam, we don't know about that. What we know is that what we have been told. Same way that we know that there are 99 names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But these 99 names are not final. There might be some more names you don't know about. So, same way, the Jannah is like a triangle, the bottommost level and the topmost level. And this is what I'm saying about the 100 levels, is the narration of Bukhari. And then the highest level of paradise for you and me is Al-Firdaus. Prophet ﷺ has said in one of the narrations that whenever you ask for Jannah, paradise, ask for the best level, and that is Al-Firdaus. Allahumma ja'alna minhum. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes us from those people, inshallah. And then there is a special level for Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and that is called Maqam al-Mahbub. That would be given to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ only. So these different levels, what are there in Jannah, how big they are, what is the difference between the one and second, Allahu Alam. But we can find, we do find some of the narrations where it says that people of one level would look at the people of the other level like they're stars. But some people say, these are not really authentic hadith. But anyway, the thing is that there are levels and it can have a real huge difference, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to award paradise to everybody according to their deeds, according to what they have done. So people of paradise will vary in the bliss, in the pleasure, in happiness and delight. And then there was a question, a very interesting question, that a person, and this is a good one actually, somebody asked that what if a person on the lower level wants to go to the higher level? Can he do that? Then of course he cannot, because this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted. However, if, let's say my father is in the upper level, and his father is even on the upper level, and so on, maybe Firdaus inshallah, so then that person would request Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I want to meet them. And some of the narration it says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give them the special blessings and they would upgrade them. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. So this is the blessing, this is the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that even after the Jannah is granted, what else you want in life? After life, what else you want? It has been given to you. But still, over there also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Rahman and Rahim. Over there, if somebody on the upper level knows you and would ask for you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, would take you there. So you better have good relation with each other in this life, so we can remember each other over there and we can ask for each other. And is it easy to get in Jannah? Do you think it's easy? Allahu Akbar. A beautiful narration from Tirmidhi, Abu Dawud and Nisai also. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Prophet says, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prepared Jannah and Jahannam both, He asked Jibreel alayhi salam to go and have a look how those places look. So when Jibreel alayhi salam, or Gabriel in English, when he went and he saw the Jannah, he came back and he said, I'm just summarizing the thing, he said, wow, this place is so beautiful that whoever will hear about it would like to enter it. And when he saw Jahannam, hell, he said, this place is so disastrous, so bad, that even if somebody would hear about it, they would never want to enter it. Then what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did, that He decorated or encompassed Jannah with hardships. Halal and haram, right and wrong, good and bad, and so on and so forth. And then asked again Jibreel alayhi salam to go and have a look. So when Jibreel went, alayhi salam, and he looked at the Jannah and he said, Allahu Akbar, Ya Rabb, I don't think anybody can get into this Jannah now. It's so difficult. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decorated, encompassed Jahannam, hell, with the lusts of this world. And when Jibreel alayhi salam saw that, he came back and he said, after looking at what you have decorated the Jahannam with, I don't think anybody can save themselves from entering into Jahannam. So it's not really easy to enter into Jannah. So this brings us to the next thing, that who will enter in paradise? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has basically put on two conditions in this ayah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَبَشِّرِ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, that give good tidings or glad tidings or good news to those who believe and do good deeds. So, Ikhwan Muslimin, this brings us to the question, who is a believer? We all claim to be believers, right? Nobody in this world, Wallah, if we ask right now, if we ask ourselves, where you're going to go, everybody will say, not Jannah, he'll say maybe Jannatul Firdaus, and maybe just next to Maqam Mahmud, just a little down. And when these kind of questions were posed to Sahaba, the companions who learned the deen from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, man, they used to get scared. They used to ask for forgiveness, tahajjud, jihad, qital, out, leaving house, everything. Still they're scared that if they'll go to hell. And on the contrary, us, I am the best moment you can find on this face of earth. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put down the first condition as a believer. Who is a believer? Of course, we can go into detail, it's a topic in itself, but we know that there are 6 pillars of Iman. So believer is the one who believes in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who believes in His angels, who believed in the revelation, who believed in the messenger, who believed in the day of Qiyamah, last day, and who believe in divine destiny, Al-Qadr. And these are the matters of Al-Ghaib. We cannot see them. These are the matters which are outside the realm of human perceptions. And these matters are concealed from a person's sense. So somebody might ask us, that, as I've said in the previous khutbah as well, that are you out of your mind that you believe in something you cannot even see? So Ikhwan Muslimin, we cannot see the electricity. But if somebody have a doubt, there is no electricity, just try to put your finger in there. And all the doubts will be cleared. Same way, we cannot see the air. We cannot see the Wi-Fi signals. We cannot see the mobile signals. We cannot see a transparent glass. We cannot see a lot of things. And I remember there was a very good, a conversation going on. So this guy was really, stubborn with the person who was trying to tell him. So he said, no matter what, I don't believe Wi-Fi. I don't believe this, that. So this guy said, okay, tell me, can you see your brains? And he was just speechless. So the point over here is, the point I'm trying to make is, it's not about arguing. It's about learning. We should learn what is Iman. See, it is very easy for us to say. It's an important point. It's very easy for us to say that I say La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, or I have said Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu Rasulullah. That's it, I'm done. No, I'm not. That's just the entry point. This is how I entered into Islam, by saying it with my tongue, iqrarun bil lisan. How the tasdeeq from qalb, tasdeequn bil qalb, how this will come? It does not come automatically. It does not. That is why Prophet Muhammad ﷺ had to teach Sahaba, his companions. It does not come automatically. As I'm saying that this is a topic in itself, so ya Ikhwan Muslimin, if somebody wants to have a rational belief, if somebody wants to have the belief based on strong evidence, get some time out of your life, read books with teacher, attend classes, and then you would know that I did not have Iman only because I was born in a Muslim. Iman is something which is a gift of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, given to the people who strive for it. Otherwise, as I always say, Abu Jahl, Abu Lahab, they were with Prophet ﷺ, same time. Abu Lahab was his uncle. Did they change their faith? Did they believe in Prophet ﷺ? They did not. Because there was nothing in there. They didn't want it to believe. So it does not come to everybody. Iman is a precious gift of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is not for everyone. And then the second condition Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned, وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, and those people who do good deeds. Ya Ikhwan Muslimin, it's a very important point. We must notice that whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would mention Iman, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would mention عَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. Now if you look at the previous nations, the stories of the previous nations, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had never mentioned that they were destroyed or they had problems or adhab of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because they did not pray, or because they did not do the religious services, or because they did not give the charity or zakah and stuff like that. Never. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never mentioned this. Most of the time when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mentioned that they have been destroyed, that is because they had corruption in their faith. Okay, let me rephrase it. They were destroyed because they had started practicing things which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had forgiven. I'm not going to go into details, but Qawm Lut, we all know what the problem was. Destroyed. Qawm Shuaib, Qawm Saleh, destroyed. What were the problems? The problems were not their prayers, not their rituals. The problems were their amal. The problem were their day-to-day life, how they were living. So, Ikhwan Muslimin, when Quran mentions these aqwam, these nations, it is not because we read about them, say, oh, na'udhu billah, how bad, and then we go forward. No. It is for us to make sure we do not follow that path. It is for us to make sure we do not do the same thing what they are doing. And then, if we put it in two words, the corruption of Iman happens, the corruption of a person happens, is because his faith gets corrupted, not enough knowledge, not enough learning. And then, what happens when this thing goes on? The hubbud dunya and karahatul maut. The love of the world comes slowly and just grab the heart. Do not want you to think about anything else. I hope, I'm not trying to be bitter, but think about it in this way. Whenever you ask somebody about coming to the masjid or anything, any religious activity, their excuse is, we don't have time, which is right. In USA, time is a luxury, man. Not everybody can afford, without any doubt. Now this is what we need to think about. I don't have time because of what? Is it because I cannot earn enough and I cannot feed my family? If this is the reason, it's an absolutely valid reason. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not want me to do things and get my family, my family is dying of hunger. This is not what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants. Because even earning livelihood, halal livelihood, is an ibadah in itself. Up to here, we are fine. Now, if I have 4 cars, 3 homes, 7 mobiles, 4 watches, and blah, 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 and now I have to pay for all these things and I say, I don't have time. This is a problem. This is a big problem. Because now I don't have time, because I have to pay for the shahawat of this world, the lusts of this world. Lust does not belong only to one category. Now imagine if I stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, okay, what's the excuse? And I say, no time. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to ask me, is this where your time was going? And then what excuse I have? There is a reason I'm mentioning this. Let me I'll go with that. I don't want to delay that. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the blessings, about the ni'mah of the Jannah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that, in Jannah, the minimum things Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, that they're going to get fruits and vegetables and anhar and, honey and milk and stuff like that. These all things are available in this world, right? So one person might think, these all cheap things Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about, substandard thing, right? We can think of that. But Ikhwan Muslimin, now think from the perspective of that believer who did not get indulged into this world fully, who spent his time in the way of Allah and in the way of deen and couldn't afford the kind of vegetables and fruits other person can. What is that feeling? What is that emotion that is stopping him from doing so? That is Hubbul Akhirah. If he do not have his own house, he do not have his own car, he cannot afford new clothes, his family is compromising, his children are compromising, in this world there is nothing for him. Now what is there in this world? What can you offer him? He is not working for it, so he is not getting it. Because his focus is Akhirah. So now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions these ni'mah, these blessings, these are just the basic ones. Just the basic ones. I would like to share a conversation I had with a small child, very interesting. I was sitting and I was talking about the Jannah with small, I think it was a girl. She was, I think, 4 or 5 years old. So when I was talking about Jannah, she said, tell me what you want. She asked me. I said, I want, maybe I want a house. Some nice, beautiful house. She said, that's it? That's it? You want only a house? I was like, what do you want? She said, I want a house. I want a Olympic-sized pool in it. I want one Toys R Us. And she had a huge list. And I was thinking, subhanAllah, she's much better than me. She already have a list what she wants. 4 or 5 year old, what else she wants? So what I'm trying to say is, that what we can think about when it comes to the ni'mah, the blessings of Jannah, are these small little things. As an adult, what do I want? I want a house, maybe, to live in. Or maybe, all these things, what I can think about this world. But these are just the basics. And now think from this perspective, the person who has worked his life in this world, who has given up the joys and pleasures and happiness and delight of this world, because of what? Because of Akhirah. Now for him, this matters a lot. And then coming again to what we're talking about, Amal Salihat. See, there are a lot of places in Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned about Amal Salihat. But one of the best places is Surah Mu'minun. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Qad aflaha al-mu'minun. Indeed, the Mu'minuns are the one who are successful. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes who they are. Alladhina hum fi salatihim khashi'un. Those who pray humbly. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ. Those who avoid ill talk, idiot speech. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِلزَّكَاةِ فَاعِلُونَ. Those who pay the zakah. And another meaning is those who purify themselves. Those who are always focused on themselves to be purified. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِفُرُوجِهِمْ حَافِظُونَ. Those who guard their chastity, private parts, do not get indulged in haram relationship, do not get indulged in illegal sexual acts. And then after 2 ayahs, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِأَمَانَاتِهِمْ وَأَهْدِهِمْ رَعُونَ. Those who are faithful to their trust and pledges, promises. When they say something, they mean it. They stand by it. See, this is a topic in itself, of course. But with these 5 ayahs, we can at least analyze ourselves that do we belong to that category of mu'mineen or mu'minoon, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned over here? So, Ikhwan Muslimeen, this brings us to another question. Let's say I'm doing all these things. Iman, trying my best, learning, masjid, up, down, left, right, amal salihat, from tahajjud to isha, and also extra nawafil. Praying, and fasting, 30 days, all, Mondays and Tuesdays, Thursdays, everything. Is it going to get me to Jannah? What do you guess? No. It will not. Strange, right? It will not. There's a narration of Sahihain, Bukhari and Muslim. Prophet ﷺ said that follow the right course, be devoted, and give glad tidings. Verily, none of you will enter paradise by his deeds alone. Prophet is saying that none of you can enter paradise by your deeds alone. And some from the Sahaba asked, Ya Prophet ﷺ, you also? He said, yes, even me. Our Prophet is saying, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he cannot enter paradise only because of his deeds. Then Prophet ﷺ said, well, of course, this looks like a contradiction, but then Prophet ﷺ said, unless Allah grants me his mercy, or Allah covers me with his mercy, with his rahmah. So, Ikhwan Muslimeen, this do sound like a contradiction in Quran, but we need to understand one thing. If it is Allah's mercy which is going to get me to Jannah, then why should I do good deeds? And this is exactly the trick of shaitan. He would come to us. Allah is Rahman, Allah is Rahim. You're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing this, you're doing that. You're an exception. Yallah, door of sins are open. Enjoy yourself. And when you feel bad, come to the good side. Little charity, little good, go back. And you think, is this not how people think? Yani they will do all the things they want to do. I don't want to name. Whatever makes them happy, good, makes them feel pleasurable. And when shaitan, when they would feel something bad about themselves, I should do the tawbah. Oh, wait, what tawbah? Wait. Open the other door, charity. Give some charity. Go and pray, tahajjud, ask for forgiveness. Back to zero. Start again. So that means deeds alone are not enough. So we must understand, Ya Ikhwan Muslimeen, that Jannah, paradise, belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He will only give it to those people whom He thinks are worthy of it. And our amal salih, our good deeds are that we are trying the best of our ability to make ourselves worthy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessings. All the good deeds I'm doing, all the things I'm doing, I'm not doing it because these deeds are going to take me to Jannah. I'm doing it because I'm looking for the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment, that Ya Rab, whatever I did, this was the best I could do. It was not perfect. Of course, except Prophet, nobody can say it was perfect. It was not perfect. I tried my best. And I also committed sins. Yani if somebody says he's a sinless, he's a liar. Only prophets did not sin because they were protected. So I commit sins, I do bad things, and X and Y and Z, and that's my deeds are going to take me to Jannah. Very difficult, man. So we should come out of this projection of shaitan that we are the mu'minun or mu'mineen. We can do whatever we want because we are an exception. and we are from the chosen people, and because I've said Ashhadu Allah ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadur Rasulullah, and I'm going to go to Jannah. Wallah, this is the exact trap of shaitan. We have to get out of it. We have to get out of it, and we have to learn Islam, we have to learn Iman, so we would know that after we have done good deeds, how to protect them. Well, the last thing, and we'll continue inshallah in the next khutbah. A person would come, Prophet says on the day of judgment, a person would come with the good deeds like the mountains of Tehama. Tehama mountains are like you can see in Harrisonburg. We have mountains all around, huge, big, maybe more than that. This is how a person would come on the day of judgment with these many good deeds. And he is sure he's going to go to Jannah, paradise, sure. But then, accountability would start. People would come. They'll say, you know what? On so and so time, he said this to me. So Allah says, okay, take so many deeds. He said on so and so, then other will come, the other will come, other will. So many people would come and say, you know what? He used to do this with us. He said this to us. He said this to us. He did this to us. He slapped me. He punched me. Or, he said bad thing to me, and blah, blah. And all of his deeds will be gone. Zero. Still people are there claiming, oh, I still need my haqq. I still need your deeds. I'm not enough. We are not done yet. Then what would happen? Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take the bad deeds of those person and put it on his account. And that person would end up in hell. The person who came with the deeds like mountains ended up in hell. This is where the Iman comes in. This is where the Rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes in. Because at that point, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could have said, right? Those people, okay, I will compensate you, just forgive him. And who would say no to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? They will say, yes, of course, if you're going to compensate, Ya Rab, is going to be much more than what He owes us. So, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes us from the people who are from people of paradise, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes us from the people who are learning deen and who are learning Iman, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes us from the people who are muhideen and gives us the ability to worship Him alone, inshallah. These are all reminders and not fatwas. Whatever is good is in. The khutbah is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and if there is a mistake, that is because of my weakness. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives me.